Hey guys and gals, it's me Subideo Rocket, and today we're going to be reviewing Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So of course, as always, we're going to start off with a non-spoiler review, and then we're going to go on to some spoilers. I'm not sure if this is true, but I kind of feel like since, we have the Spider-Man in the MCU, but Sony still wants to make Spider-Man films, of course we had Venom beforehand, I feel like this movie is here to establish different universes, so it makes people understand that, oh, this is a different universe from the MCU. So yeah, I kind of feel like that's the main purpose of this film, and I feel like that's a pretty good idea. And I feel like they actually explained it nicely and clearly that there are actually different universes with different types of Spider-Man and all that. So yeah, I kind of feel like that's the case for this film, and I really like that that's the idea. And the fact that it's animated actually makes it even more easier to understand, because they have all the freedom they want to bring different types of Spider people in without any issues, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I really like that's the case with this film. Speaking of the animation, it's pretty beautiful. I really like it. I'm pretty sure you heard this from a dozen people already, but this feels like a living, breathing comic book. I'm serious. Every frame in this movie actually looks pretty beautiful. Even when it's something dangerous, it looks pretty beautiful. Of course, since this is about the Spider-Verse, of course we're gonna see a lot of Spider-Man in this movie, and Spider-Woman as well. So yeah, I feel like they actually did some pretty good selections of Spider people for this film. Of course, we got the well-known Spider people out there. We got the iconic Peter Parker Spider-Man. We got the Miles Morales Spider-Man from the Ultimate Comics. Spider-Gwen, well, she's not called Spider-Gwen in that universe. She's called Spider-Woman. Yeah, that's a pretty good selection so far. But that's not all the Spider people in this film. We also got 3 more. And I feel like those are also good selections, because since this is an animated film, I feel like they choose the best Spider people to put in an animated film. First we got Spider-Ham, which is literally a cartoon character, so of course it will be in this animated film. And then we got Spider-Man Noir, which is, the old Spider-Man, like the Spider-Man from a long time ago. And finally we got Penny Parker, which is basically anime. Come on guys. So yeah, we got some pretty good selections for this animated film. I feel like Spider fans are really gonna enjoy this film. For regular people, of course they will still have a blast with this as well, even though they're not fully have knowledge of Spider-Verse and Spider-Man itself. So, but even though that's the case, they can still enjoy this film regardless. I actually managed to watch this twice, one with my parents and one with my friends during my birthday. And you know where this is going already. Like last time with the Ant-Man and the Wasp review, of course, we're gonna see what my friends have to say about the movie. So, enjoy!
I love the movie. I love the aesthetic that they decided to go with. Comic book art style, right? And I don't understand why though, but they decided to make some parts of the movie blurry.
They had different animation style.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty good.
That was pretty
Yeah.
nice. That was pretty nice.
It was really good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was pretty good.
And if you don't like the movie, I will literally kill this guy. I will do it now, and I will actually kill this guy. I did 50,000 likes.
It do be like that.
Can we get this video to a billion likes, 1,000 likes right now, or I will end it. I will end this live right now. I will end this live right now, like this second right now. If you don't do it right now, I will.
And if you do it, I'll do the same thing to him.
Yeah, he will.
No, it's good. It's very good. Very good movie. Very epic. Give it a thumbs up. 2 million likes. Then I will kill this guy. Or this. Or this.
Why does everybody want to kill everybody with likes?
Or I will kill you.
So that's all for the non-spoiler review. So without further ado, let's cue the spoiler warning. Oh yeah, before we move on, make sure you see the end credit scene. You will not be disappointed. So the movie starts off with, well, what else? Logos. I really like how they handle the opening logos in this film. Sure, I know it's just opening logos, but still it's actually pretty cool. All the logos just start warping into different variations of it, and then there's this intense music playing in the background, but it still also sounds cool at the same time. It's actually pretty cool. I really like it. It's actually trying to get us hyped for the movie, and it really accomplishes that. I want to point out that the Sony Pictures Animation logo looks a bit different now. It's not because of the warping, okay? It's actually a bit different now. It's a bit more like, it's a bit still, I don't know how to explain it. It's less cartoony than, you know, before. I kind of feel like that kind of makes sense for this movie. We're not watching Cloudy and a Chance of Meatballs here. We're watching Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where Kingpin smashes somebody's face to death. And speaking of animation, because you know I was talking about the animation logo just now, I said that this is kind of like a living, breathing comic book. And even to make the point further, after they finish with the opening logos, they stop the intense music and show us the comics code of approval. Oh my god! Now we go to the origin of Peter Parker Spider-Man via comic book. Peter Parker was a normal person with normal everyday problems until one day he got bitten by a radioactive spider, which gave him spider powers such as spider crawling. He decides to use those powers to become a superhero after getting advice from his uncle. With great power comes great responsibility. And that's the origin of Spider-Man. But there's more. We found out that this Peter Parker actually married Mary Jane, and he has a ton of Spidey merch such as comic books, a cereal, a Christmas album, and a So-So Popsicle which is just as so-so as the Sonic Popsicle. Now we cut to Miles Morales, which is a normal person with normal everyday problems. What do you mean it's foreshadowing? Anybody can be a normal person with normal everyday problems. You soon find out that Miles likes to hang out with his uncle, but one day when he was hanging out with him, he got bitten by a radioactive, that ain't radioactive. Anyways, once Miles Morales finds out about these powers and finds out that he actually got some Spider-Man powers, he kind of freaked out, and soon enough he decided to go find the place where he got bitten by the spider in the first place. He found the spider on the floor, it's like dead and all that, and soon enough he found like a secret area where there's a big machine being operated by Kingpin. And my god, Kingpin looks so huge. Sure, he's kind of like that in the comics, and sure, this is an animated film of course, but comparing him to all the other humans in this film, he's so large. It's not like fat large, it's not muscularly large, it's just really large. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't think I have any footage of it. Hopefully we got any, but my goodness. We soon found out that Spider-Man is there to stop Kingpin, which he did. He stopped the machine and all that. Well, technically he didn't stop it himself. He kind of got his head smashed into the machine itself by Green Goblin. Spider-Man asks Miles to help him put in a pen drive into the machine to deactivate it for good. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to do that, but luckily he managed to escape as well. Soon enough later on, when Spider-Man is beat down than ever, Kingpin arrives on the scene and managed to just smash his face, and boom, just like that, he's dead. Soon enough, the whole world finds out that Spider-Man is dead and find out about his true identity, which is Peter Parker. But this is a bit of a different Peter Parker. As we see from the picture, he's actually blonde. I find that a bit surprising because we see before that it's actually the true life tales of Peter Parker, and in those comics, he's actually wearing the glasses style and all that. And to see that become, you know, a blonde haired figure, not even having the glasses anymore, it's a bit crazy. But though this is kind of to show the whole thing of him being the perfect Spider-Man. Why did they do that? Well, you'll see later. Meanwhile, Miles tries to find out how to become Spider-Man on his own, but unfortunately he fails, and in doing so, he accidentally broke the pen drive. No, it's not called a pen drive, what should I call it? Oh yeah, it's a goober. But before Miles decides to give up, a new Spider-Man comes into the fray, and the comic restarts, and we start off with another origin story of Peter Parker. But this time with an added B. Why? I don't know, I didn't research it. This Peter Parker starts off the same, but later on it goes a bit differently. He actually got a divorce with Mary Jane, and soon enough he becomes more broken down than ever. Miles managed to convince Peter Parker with a B to help him get a brand new goober in order to deactivate the machine. So they decide to infiltrate Kingpin's base in order to retrieve some information in order to build a brand new goober in order to deactivate the machine. This is where we find out that Miles actually got more than just spider powers. He got a bit more powers as well, like turning invisible. This is where we also find out if Peter Parker, with a B, stays in this dimension for too long, he will die. So we have to do this quick and over with. So they managed to escape with a CPU in hand that could help them make a new goober. But soon enough later on, they kind of get into a bit of trouble with a female Doc Ock from, this dimension. Yeah, we got a lot of villains in this movie, 6 in total. And that's not a coincidence, they're literally referencing to the Deadly Six from Sonic Lost World. Anyways, they stumble upon another Spider-Man. Well, it's a Spider-Woman, aka Gwen Stacy, aka Spider-Gwen. This is where we get to see another comic and another origin story. And that's the thing, whenever there's a new Spider-Person introduced, there's always a comic that joins the comic pile. Keep that in mind, it will come into play later. Spider-Gang decides to go to Queens to get help from Aunt May in order to find out how to build the goober that, the Peter Parker without a B actually made. This is where we find the other 3 spider people that landed on this dimension. Already mentioned this, Spider-Ham, Penny Parker, Spider-Man Noir, they're perfect choices for this animated film. But the problem is, they didn't really get much screen time. Sure, we got some fun moments with these spider people, but I kind of feel like they kind of take a back seat from, sure it's alright, but I kind of feel like we could have had it more with these 3 spider people. Later on, everybody finds out that Miles will be the one who will deactivate the machine in order to get everybody back home. But the thing is, Miles isn't ready yet. He cannot turn invisible on command and all that stick. This is where Miles decides to have some alone time. He decides to go back to his uncle's apartment, and this is where he finds out that his uncle is part of the Deadly Six. Miles rushes back to the gang, but little does he know that the Deadly Six was following him. And so a big battle commences. During the battle, Miles' uncle managed to almost kill him, but unfortunately Miles decides to unmask himself for him, and this is convincing him to not kill him. This is where Kingpin actually shoots him because he didn't kill him, and almost managed to kill Miles, but he managed to escape with the body of his uncle. Soon enough, the rest of the Spider Gang comes up to him and actually tells him that the thing about this job is that you can't save everybody. I really like that we get to see Spider-Man's actual point of view on all the stuff that he has to do on becoming Spider-Man. Well, sure, this is only like one scene, but it's actually pretty interesting. After that, Peter Parker tells Miles that he will be the one to deactivate the machine but instead of him. But Miles didn't really take it that well, and soon enough the Spider-Gang leaves. Soon enough later on, Miles tries to think about it and tries to think what it actually is to become Spider-Man. Soon enough he realizes what makes him different is what makes him Spider-Man. And soon enough, he takes a leap of faith, and soon enough, he becomes Spider-Man. And another comic book is added to the comic pile. Miles managed to catch up with the other spider people in order to deactivate the machine, and soon enough, they managed to work together and defeat the female Doc Ock. And soon enough, they go ahead with their mission. So they managed to bring everybody home, as well as Peter Parker himself. Well, Peter Parker with a B, and now it's just Miles and Kingpin. And it's actually a pretty cool fight. They're just like fighting around the big beam of light that the machine has produced, and go through all this weird reality shifting stuff, and there's like so many colors buzzing around. It's like so pretty. Kingpin almost managed to beat Spider-Man down, but Spider-Man managed to get back up. Because the thing about Spider-Man is, no matter how many punches, he'll always manage to get back up. So he managed to defeat Kingpin and managed to deactivate the machine, and everything goes back to normal. And Miles Morales lives as the brand new Spider-Man. So that's the movie. I really like that this movie tries to go in depth on what it takes to be Spider-Man. It's not just with great power comes great responsibility. There's more than that, and this movie proves that. You can also consider this a celebration of Spider-Man. There's a lot of references in this film, and a lot of heart put into this to make it actually a Spider-Man film. And this is a perfect tribute to Stan Lee. So with that said, alright guys and gals, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. So there's a lot more to come in December, so stay tuned for that. So until then guys, rock it on!